guys, welcome back to our session in this prediction series. One very important thing which you need to keep in mind. So by this time, you all will be overburdening your brain. You'll be putting that into use continuously without giving any break, and it will be running to its full capacity. Now it is very much essential that you need to give adequate break for your brain so that it will be capable of thinking and working efficiently. So make it sure once in a while. So maybe once in 3 days, take a small break. So the best way to give rest to your brain is you can just go out and roam around in a shopping mall, or you can go and watch a movie. And this is very much essential because once when you give a break for at least some 3 or 4 hours, then if you restart your preparation, your brain will be in a position to cooperate with you. So keep that in mind. So now, though you are left with just 30 or 40 days, still adequate break is very much essential to keep your brain active. Okay, so today let us discuss about one important thing, two important things in fact. First is WTO's trade barometer. Trade barometer. So this is a real-time information on trends in global trade. So earlier this was called as the World Trade Outlook indicator. And this is a leading indicator which signals the trend in global trade much in advance, maybe some 2 to 3 months ahead of the merchandise trade volume statistics. Generally, it takes some time for even WTO to compile these voluminous merchandise trade volume statistics. So even now, even prior to that, even 2 to 3 months before the release of the actual data, now this WTO trade barometers, it gives us some inputs about some critical data about the world trade growth. World trade growth. And again, we have two barometers here, Goods Trade Barometer and Services Trade Barometer. In both the cases, if the value is 100, it means the global trade is at par with the trend. There is no major change. If it is above 100, the value above 100, it states that there is a growth in the trend. There is a growth in the trend of global trade. If it is less than 100, it shows slowing down of the global trade. There is a slowdown in the trend of the world or the global trade. Post-pandemic now, the value is around 96. It shows that the global trade is slowing down. And there are a number of reasons for this. I need to look into this. I want our aspirants to look into this. What are the reasons that are responsible for slowing down of the global trade? The recession-like situation in Europe and America, weakening of US dollars. Apart from there are a number of factors which is responsible for the slowdown in global trade. Okay, so there are two indicators: Goods Trade Barometer and then Service Trade Barometer. In both the cases, value 100 means at par with the trend. There is no major fluctuations in the trend in global trade growth. Global trade growth. Okay, that's fine then. So I hope you should focus on this particular topic: WTO trade barometers developed by WTO. Okay. So next is Trade Openness Index. This is a very common index which is used to measure to what extent a country is open to trade, to what extent a country promotes its trade. So this Trade Openness Index, the trade openness is calculated by dividing a country's trade with its GDP. That is, the proportion of a country's trade with respect to its GDP. By trade here, we'll be summing up both imports and exports. Summing up of imports and exports divided by the GDP. But based on this value, when the countries are ranked, we altogether get a confusing picture. For example, the small countries like Hong Kong, Luxembourg, Singapore, it lies along with San Marino, Djibouti. Djibouti is a small country in Africa. Can we even compare that country with Singapore or Hong Kong? So Hong Kong ranks first, followed by Luxembourg and Singapore. India, you can see, it ranks along with Australia and Indonesia, somewhere between 153, 154, 155. And have a look at the United States of America. It lies in the bottom. It lies in the bottom along with Burundi, Sudan, etc. And just above USA lies Pakistan, Brazil, and Argentina. Why? What is this parity? Just keep in mind this may be a potential question in your prelims. So as per the trade openness index, USA lies below India. Australia lies below India. Why is it so? So for countries like USA where trade is something very important, apart from trade, as GDP is there in the denominator, a very high GDP is responsible for a lesser value here. But for a country like Singapore, where they manufacture very less when compared to the trade there. But still, Hong Kong, Luxembourg, and Singapore, their economy, we cannot match it with countries like San Marino or Djibouti. But just keep in mind, so as per the trade openness index, Hong Kong lies in the top of the table, followed by Luxembourg and Singapore. I hope many of you may not even know where the country San Marino is. San Marino is a very small country located within Italy, somewhere in the northern Italy, and its population is not more than 35,000. It's a very small country. So Djibouti, we know it's a country in the northern part of Africa. Fine then. So trade openness index. So how we are calculating trade openness index? The country's trade as a proportion of its GDP. That is a country's trade divided by its GDP. By trade here, we'll be summing up both imports and exports. That means trade openness index is equal to imports plus exports, the whole divided by a country's GDP. And India's value, as I have mentioned here, in the year 2018, it was around 43.6. The global average is around 56. The global average is around 56. And by 2021, India's value is around 46. Slowly we are improving because maybe somewhere some 20 years back, our trade openness value was around 40. From 40, now we have reached almost 46. 46, but see, whatever may be the thing, as per this data, as per this calculation, as per this trade openness index, USA lies in the bottom, Hong Kong, Singapore lies in the top, and India somewhere in the middle. Got it? Okay. Thank you.